Thanks for coming back, Emily. In the last episode, George and myself were talking about cooking techniques and organizational techniques and how to basically organize the fridge with your produce. But there's another aspect to cooking and providing for your family and eating is the nutritional value that you receive, portion control, that kind of thing. Can you tell me a little bit about that, about the nutrition side of things?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I really like to keep nutrition just simple and basic. So there's really no one food that has all your nutrients. So that's why it's important to just get a variety of foods in your diet and have that good meal. So I really like to kind of base our meals off of our little plates here. So we can talk about some of our food groups. So half of our plate, we would want to try to get in a lot of like non-starchy vegetables. That's where a lot of our nutrients are found. So maybe like some roasted broccoli, maybe some kale, maybe a good salad. So having that meal based around your vegetables.
So let's talk about labels. When you're in the store and looking at labels and things, the nutritional label on the back of the package can be very confusing. I look at sugars added, dietary fiber, all these things. It's completely confusing. Can you give any tips on someone that's looking at labels? Are they to look at the calorie count? Are they to look at the portion size for that calorie count? Tell me a little bit about labeling and how we can navigate that minefield.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Nutrition labels are very confusing. However, just kind of keeping it basic and simple. I wouldn't focus necessarily on, counting the specific calories or the specific fats or specific carbs, but just having a good idea of your serving size. So typically our labels will give us like the serving sizes and the servings per container. So if you have a box of Cheez-Its, maybe, a serving size would be maybe a half of a cup or so versus the whole box, would be that serving size. So just trying to reduce your portions. Another thing too is just looking at your ingredient list. So that can really help us to determine what is in that product. So if it's a long list of ingredients,
50 things that you can't pronounce, stay away from it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you can't pronounce half of it. Maybe find something else, find a better substitute. So less ingredients, the better.
So essentially, going back to this first point you make about the plate with the portion sizes on it, essentially if you go by that rather than all those long names and everything else, and your meal is balanced and it's a balanced meal that's not too large, you're probably doing a lot better than if you maybe went the other way and tried to understand all the nutritional facts. Correct?
Yep, you're exactly right. Just keep it simple. Don't make it too complicated, because then that's when it can get very overwhelming and we all kind of get in the rut of, oh, well, I've got to stick to my calorie counting and I've really got to stick to my diet. But if we just keep it simple, have that good balanced plate, and think whole foods versus a lot of our processed food, just like George mentioned earlier, then that's really our goal.
So in one of our previous episodes, we talked also about the financial impact of shopping and cooking and everything else. You don't have to buy the best of everything and the organic and everything to eat healthy. It's essentially just about putting the right things on your plate and the right size, correct?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, so everybody's budget's different, so you really just have to go according to your own budget. But even when we talk about organic, you could think of like the Dirty Dozen. So there's specific produce that do have more added pesticides. Maybe you could focus on those items to choose organic, and then your other ones not organic. But maybe.
So what sort of things are in the Dirty Dozen? Can you name a few foods that would be classed under that name?
Yeah, so a few things. Some of your fruits that have like the skin on them, so like your apples, maybe like your pears. Those are things that you would want to choose, maybe more organic. Even some of like our berries, like our blueberries and things.
I see. So they're more likely to be exposed to pesticides and chemicals.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming in today.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.